Welcome to the channel, everybody. My name is Brooke Hiddink, and today we're going to be doing a Q&A. The questions that I put on the Google form, there's been an excellent turnout, a bunch of great questions. I'm going to go through all of those. As always on my Q&As, have my C4. Today is Wednesday, the 26th. When I'm filming this, I'm leaving to Italy in a couple days. So I'm trying to get as much content ready so when I go, I have a big backlog. So if there's any other style of content that you guys want or video ideas, you've obviously put a ton of great questions for today's video. So if you ever have any videos, ideas, or anything like that that you would like to see that I'm not currently doing, throw them in the comment section and I will take them in consideration in terms of what type of videos to make in the future. Greatly appreciate all of your support. Channel is growing quickly, which is awesome to see. If you could hit subscribe, hit like, and put any questions or comments on this video, I would greatly appreciate your support, and we'll dive right into the questions in today's Q&A. So question number one is it possible to earn enough capital from your free course, given that I follow everything to a T to be able to join your paid course? So I would say, yeah, for sure. If you do everything to a T and do it at scale, you should definitely be able to earn enough from that. There's people already earning, I believe, 6 figures a month from that. I know a couple people are for sure. So if you're doing 6 figures a month in sales, you should be at like 10, 20K profit at least, which would be more than enough to join the paid program. So you're obviously going to need some money for ads to get started, at least a few $100s, and a few $100 to set up your business, your Shopify store and stuff like that. But assuming you can actually have enough money to get going, you should be able to make enough sales-wise there to then join the paid and really scale. So in short, yes. Next question, is it a conflict to reuse niches in your course? If so, can your course become saturated? So if everybody's doing the same niche, then yeah, I guess it will be quote unquote saturated, but the people who are the best at e-commerce are gonna have success even in a saturated niche. So saturation is not something I really try and worry about too much, because even in a super saturated area, the people who are the best at whatever that thing is are going to have success. So I would be more worried about becoming the best at the thing than saturation. For example, like in my free course, I say my own store name. So there's 7,000 people who have been trying to copy me. And I have a couple of suppliers, my best suppliers, that aren't taking on new stores, so they can't ever close them. But I've noticed a ton of people trying to copy me on my other suppliers, but it's not gonna be possible to really beat me at scale doing that unless you become really, really, really good. So I'm not really too worried about that. But honestly, if you wanna make your life easier, it would be better to pick an unsaturated niche when you're getting started. But again, just because something's saturated or competitive, it means demand is there. And you just have to worry about becoming the best at whatever that thing is. So make the nicest website, run your ads the best. If you do that, you'll have success even in a saturated space. You mentioned before that you do not use ClearSale or any other fraud protection. So the reason why these ClearSale and these fraud protection companies are in business is because they make money off of you. So I think they charge like 1% per order, like 0.6% per order. You have to think, on $5.5 million in sales, whatever I've done, 0.6% of that is like $65,000 I would have paid ClearSale. And I have had one fraudulent order where I lost a few $1,000s, the entire history of my store. So I just have an account that is like my own fraud protection account, where if I have a fraudulent order, I can just insure myself. So I'm just self-insuring, and I've only had to pay like $5,000, $10,000 max for fraud myself, when I would have paid ClearSale $60,000. If you're just getting started and you don't have extra money to protect yourself, you can use ClearSale or something like that when you're getting started, so you have that additional protection. But I would recommend just trying to put away like 10, 20 grand so you can insure yourself in those situations, because at the end of the day, the only reason ClearSale is in business is because they're making money off of you. So if you can just provide yourself the same service with an extra little capital on the side, then it would be wise to do so, because obviously they're not losing money doing it, they're making money off of you. So any situation like that, if you notice a business is doing something where like insurance, if you can just insure yourself, you're gonna save a lot of money. Hey Brooke, first off, thank you for all the great content. No problem. Thank you for the support. You've said now is the best time to start in high income, but I'm currently in the process of getting a good cash flowing sales job and plan to join the program once I've acquired sales skills for better closing suppliers and capital. In the meantime, I'll learn from you in your free course. So if I can only join in 1 year from now, would that still be a prime time to do so? Will you still be offering coaching then? It really depends. I'm not really sure what I'll be doing in a year from now. The program's crushing it right now, so I assume that I still will be. I'll definitely have something, at the very minimum, a free course or my YouTube channel. I'm not sure what the coaching program I have now is going to look like then. I'm not sure what me and my business partner are going to do, but I would assume if everything keeps going as it is, that we will continue to offer coaching because it's crushing it right now and we're getting a lot of really good feedback. But I think that's smart to get at least a job of some sort Sales is a good one. You have capital to actually invest in your store, because the more capital you have to invest in your e-com store, the quicker you'll be able to get it going. So I think your plan is smart. It's not like e-com's going anywhere anytime soon. So sound plan. If there was a way to understand the YouTube algorithm and what was the popular niches, not really sure I understand the question, to be honest with you. I'm sure that there's a way to understand the YouTube algorithm, like YouTube SEO, and I'm not sure popular niches. Make money online, e-com, I'm not sure. What is the essential email sequences to get started? So the three main ones are going to be your abandoned checkout. So if someone starts checking out on your website and then leaves, you send them an email with the product they were looking at. A welcome flow. So when someone signs up to your newsletter, they get like a discount or a welcome to your store, whatever that looks like. What's the third one? Browse abandoned. So browse abandoned, if someone they sign up to your newsletter and then they're looking at a specific product on your website. So they haven't started checking out, but they're looking at a specific product page, then you can send them that product. And other ones you would want to consider as a post-purchase flow. So after someone buys an email sequence post-purchase to upsell, cross-sell, get reviews, things like that. And a site abandoned. That means the person's only been on your homepage. They haven't actually visited a product page, and you can send them a flow. They've just went on your homepage or a collection page. They haven't been on a product page, or they haven't abandoned checkout. But the three main ones are going to be abandoned checkout / abandoned cart, welcome flow, browse abandoned flow. How often do you give your VAs raises, and by how much? So we have a bit of a system by performance targets. So I say there's not like a set time you get raises this time every year. When we do it more so based upon how the store is performing. So once we hit X amount of revenue at X return on ad spend, then everyone will get bumped up to this. So it's more based upon performance targets and the advancement of the store than time periods. You recommend using Chatra. What specific features made you choose that over Tidio? So I believe Tidio has pretty strict limits on how many bot chats it will send, like automated sequences. So Chatra does not have that. Like once you sign up, I think it's like $25 a month. You can do as many as you want on there. So it made a lot more sense that way. And I do like the user interface better. Like it's a lot better. You can target people on specific pages. It just seems, as a customer, like when I chat with it myself to practice, I seem to prefer it. It looks a lot cleaner, in my opinion. Do I have to buy these high-ticket products myself, store them, and then resell them to make a profit? No, you do not. So you don't have to actually pay for the order until you get one. So if I was to go to your website, I would pay you the money. You would send my information to your supplier, and your supplier would ship the product directly to me. So you don't have to pay your supplier until you actually get the order. Is this an affiliate marketing program? No, not an affiliate marketing program. High-ticket account program. Can I start in any country like the Caribbean? Yeah, you can set up a company in the US from almost anywhere in the world. So yeah, you can. Hey Brooke, what happens exactly when we make a sale? An automated confirmation goes to the customer, then we go to our supplier's portal, email them, give them the order details, and then we get the shipping information from the supplier, then we send that in a subsequent email to the customer. Would we be able to get a breakthrough? Yes. So I actually just filmed a video walking through the whole process of this last week. So it should be posted in the near future. But yeah, you're understanding it correctly. And then like when you actually fulfill an order on Shopify, so once you get the shipping information, you put it on Shopify, press fulfill, it will then send the customer an email with their shipping information. And you can also send them a manual email follow-up as well. But it sounds like you're understanding it correctly. Every supplier is going to be a bit different, but that is the sequence. Hey Brooke, can you talk about how you were able to get that first big supplier? You mentioned it's done amazing for your store. Can you share details of what your store looked like when you reached out to them? Honestly, I don't want to say luck. It was just volume. Like I just reached out to so many. They were a really good supplier. They were taking on new dealers at the time, and I closed them. So like you have to think, not every supplier is going to be taking on new dealers at all times. There's going to be phases or months where they're looking for new dealers and they'll shut the program and reopen in the future. So you just have to always be doing this at scale. And the more you do, you're going to get lucky and you're going to close a really good one who's accepting new dealers at that time. But you just have to do it at scale, keep reaching out, staying on top of them, and really like be a nice, enjoyable person. Don't just say, hey, can I sell your stuff? Say like, hey, how's it going? How are if you're from Pittsburgh, how are the Steelers doing? Talk to them. Like, do you have kids? Oh, like, are you going on vacation next week? Just form an actual human relationship with them and then follow up with them. So then they say, no, we're not taking on new dealers. You can call them up in 2 weeks and say, hey, like, you taking on dealers yet? And just like have fun with it. Like, you know, it doesn't have to be the super serious thing that everyone makes it out to be. Just form a genuine human relationship with people, connect with them, and just follow up. And there's going to be a time when eventually they say yes. And you just have to be persistent. It doesn't have to be this big, difficult thing. You just have to stay persistent, reach out to suppliers at scale, and you will get good ones. You just can't give up, and you can't just call 2 or 3 and think that, oh, it's not working. Do suppliers that are already doing D2C say no to partnering since you're going to be competing with their direct sales? How do you position this to get them to the agreement? So some of them say no, but many of them say yes. So what you say is like, obviously if they're selling D2C, they don't have every customer in the world. So you just say like, we're going to be spending our marketing dollars, we're going to be exposing you to new customers. And what you can say is that you're going to have a heavy focus on SEO, so search engine optimization, which will then expose their brand to new customers. So when they're running paid ads, they're probably running paid ads for their branded term. But like, let's say if I'm selling saunas, if I target jacuzzi sauna, like that's probably what they're advertising on. But if I target like 2-person infrared sauna and I can get my store to rank organically for that, then, and I'm selling their products, then if someone lands on my store for searching this generic term like sauna or 2% infrared sauna and I'm selling their stuff, that's going to give them an advantage over the competitors because their stuff is going to be being exposed to this person who presumably hasn't made up their mind which brand they want yet. So you're exposing their brand to new customers. For foreign companies, should the resale form be based on a virtual address or legal business address? I'm in Canada, similar setup to you. Any insight? So my resale form is based on my Canadian address, my Canadian business address. Did you set up your DBA in Canada or the US? So I actually don't even have a DBA. I don't think there is a DBA in Canada. I think it's called registering your business name. I don't think it's called a DBA. But if you're in the US, then it's called a DBA. How much does your high-ticket dropshipping coaching program cost? Very pressing question for me because I definitely have the time and the energy to go heavy into it. So if you go to the form and try to book a call, it'll give you an idea, but I'm not going to talk about the price on here because the price is always changing and there's different pricing options. So it's not something I'm going to put on YouTube, but if you're interested, you can book a call below and fill out the form. And if you don't meet the requirements in the form, then it's probably too much for you, which is fine. Just go to the free community. Any awesome supplier order confirmation management apps you recommend on Shopify? I honestly have found that just the Shopify dashboard is the best one. I've tried some. We use Monday.com. So I think we have a Zapier automation that when a customer orders, it sends a Zapier to Monday. And then Monday we have a board where we have like ordered, preparing to ship, shipped, delivered. All the orders are like, we're tracking them at every step of the process all the way until the customer actually gets the order. And then we're afterward, it says delivered, we're following up with them for reviews. Use Triple Whale for managing your store's performance and advertising analytics. No, I do not. High Ticket Ecom has very long buying process, so it could be 2-3 weeks before someone first sees your ad and then buys. So the attribution is not great. So what I do is I just, at the end of every month, I calculate my total sales by brand. So brand 1 sales, brand 2 sales, brand 3 sales, and then I calculate the total amount of money I spent on ads on each brand and get a return on ad spend for each brand and then make decisions for the next month based on that data. Triple Whale and these sorts of softwares aren't going to give you attribution just because the buying window is so long. What would be the characteristics of a great supplier? So I would say you want branded search volume. So people searching for that specific brand stuff, ideally over 500. You want a high price point, so over $3,000. You want high margins, so above 30%, and you want minimal competition, so like under 10, 15 stores selling it. And the way you check competition is you go to Go Shopping, put in the brand name, scroll down and go to sellers on the bottom left. So you want there to be, if you have a brand that has high volume, so lots of people searching for the brand, high margins, high price point, minimal competition, those are the ingredients for like an A+ supplier. How many suppliers should I aim to close to hit 10K month profit? So there's not a number. Like I've closed 10K month profit with one supplier for almost the history of my store. But on average, I think probably you can expect like 1, 2, 3K for a good supplier. So if you can close 3 good suppliers, like that should be enough to hit it if your ads are all set up properly. When your sauna sales, Clearlight, started taking off in 21-22, how you were successful when 9% of the models were back ordered for months? So what we did is we always just put the shipping time on the product page. So like right now it's April. So we would put on the product page, sauna will not be ready for delivery until July. So then when the customer would order, we would call them and we don't accept payment right away. So it's authorized, but we don't actually accept payment, so it's not taking their money. They go place the order, we call them, say, hey, we're not sure if you saw, but on the product page, it said the shipping time for this sauna is July or August. And then we would remind them that like we have first access to this. So you're not gonna find this sauna anywhere else sooner because we have access directly to the supplier's inventory. So we can source it directly from the supplier. You're not gonna get it sooner anywhere else. Just wanna confirm that you're okay with this waiting time. Yes, okay, like I really want this sauna. Don't, like I understand I can't get it from anywhere else. I'm fine with the wait. And then we would process the payment. So there's obviously like a couple that we had to refund, but I would say like 90-95% of people are fine with the wait, which is kind of surprising to me, but it makes sense. Like if someone's buying like a $10,000 sauna and they have to wait a couple months, it's probably not a big deal for something they're gonna have for like 10, 15 years. So we would always just list them as in stock on the website. So we would allow customers to order them, even though they were back ordered, but we would just put the accurate shipping time on the page so they knew when they would get it. And then once they ordered, we would then call them and confirm that they saw the shipping time before processing the order. Is your high-ticket dropshipping coaching program mostly specialized for setting up a business properly with limited liability in the USA, or would they be able to substantially catalyze the process? I'm not sure I understand the question, to be honest with you. Like, you can run the business from anywhere in the world. What are the key differences for high-ticket dropshipping with EU compared to the USA? So just USA is obviously a bigger market. EU, there's more like tax compliance rules and things like that. But there's obviously way less competition, and you have the option to actually run stores in different languages. So there's a guy in my program, he's going to build his store in German, which I think he's going to crush it because he's going to face way less competition, and it's super easy to rank SEO for some of these other languages because there's not any content on there. Do I know Luke Belmar? I know who he is, but I don't know him. I've never spoken to him. You dropship very high quality products, but I assume even then, sometimes there are instances where the customer returns the item. Is it you who handles the return or your supplier? What's your return percentage? So we've had like 2 returns the whole time. So like if you buy a sauna, we ship it to you, then you would be responsible for the return shipping. So we put that on our policy. What would happen if you wanted to is you would pay return shipping, but you would send it to the supplier, not me. So you would deal with me about it. Like I would tell you, I would give you the shipping address, I would give you the return authorization, I have your money, so I'm going to give you your refund, but you have to ship it to the supplier, and when the supplier receives it, they let me know, and then I issue you your refund. Like myself and the supplier are both dealing with it, but very low percentage, because most of the time if you're like, you don't want to pay like $500 to return the item. Oftentimes there's also a restocking fee depending on the brand, so you would have to pay not only the return shipping, but like 20% of the product price to return it as well. Which really people don't want to pay that, but we're very clear about that, like in the order confirmation email, like that they get that this is the case, and then they can cancel before it ships out. But we've only had like 1 or 2 returns. Most of the time is just warranties. So you get your item, if it's broken or something, rather than returning it, we'll just ship you a new part so the item becomes operational and functional, and you get a working item of what you paid for. How does your business model look with high-ticket coaching? You provide so much value for free. It seems that you are, to a significant extent, not only driven by making maximum profit. So yeah, I think it's just good to give back, give value however I can. And I think that like if I give away free value, that it will come back to me in other ways that aren't always just trying to make maximum profit up front. I think there's like, if you give away free value, that will come back to you. Are there people in your paid coaching program who are doing high-ticket dropshipping in Europe with success? We have lots of European students who are crushing it with US stores. We have some European students, I guess UK students, who are doing well sales-wise. There's only one guy who's actually trying to run his store in Europe, and he's still in the setup process, but he's closed suppliers. He's closed some really good suppliers. He's uploading them on his website, and he'll be launching within the next week or 2. What are the top priorities at this stage in your life? So for me, I think it's just saving up a nice chunk of money. I want to kind of save probably, I'm not going to say exact amount, but enough to really get into real estate, probably do that. And I want to have kids in the next year or 2. So want to have a nice financial cushion before I have kids and a family, but mainly just focusing on building businesses, becoming a better version of myself, having kids in the next couple of years, and ideally use money from my online businesses to eventually get into real estate. But that's obviously very capital intensive. So probably be 2 or 3 years before I go heavy into that. Are my Notion resources going to remain open for the foreseeable future? I would assume so. I might close them eventually. I'm not sure, like in the future, if I eventually close the paid coaching program, I'm not sure. It would probably be at least a year until I did that. I would probably do like just a strictly info-based product, a course or something at a much lower price point. And if that was the case, it would be a lot of the same information as the stuff in Notion. So I'd probably close those, I would assume. There would obviously be more information as well. But yeah, for foreseeable future, yeah, they'll be open. What are the key technical skills you have acquired through your dropshipping journey? So I think there's a bunch. Google ads, Facebook ads. I have a really good understanding of SEO now, conversion rate optimization, hiring, building SOPs, delegating, managing cash flow. So a whole bunch of different skills it teaches you. Would you suggest to partner with distributors or strictly brands? So distributors can be great. They can oftentimes be much easier for you to close. And oftentimes they get better shipping rates. So usually the margin is going to be a little lower. So for example, like I have a brand I have a 40% margin with, but I made a sale and they were trying to charge me like $700 shipping with my 40% margin. So it ended up being like 23%. But I had a distributor who has the same brand. So even though the margin is only 35% through the distributor, the shipping rate was $200. So it ended up actually being net 27%, something like that. So the margin was higher through the distributor because they got such a better shipping rate. So they're very easy to work with. The one thing you have to watch is sometimes they don't have great inventory. So they'll carry a brand stuff, but they'll only carry the best sellers. But yeah, I have a lot of success with distributors. What is the minimum margin percent before ad costs you look to advertise products? So 20% minimum. I wouldn't advertise much below. I guess if it's like 15, 16, 70%, but the item's like $12,000, sure. Because then like you're still making well over $1,000 profit per sale. But if it's below $5,000, the minimum would be 20, and ideally closer to like 25, 30, I would say. Hi, Brooke. Not a question, but I love your content. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I've almost finished your 6 modules. Now I'm working on contacting suppliers and doing the work. Whatever be the results, I'm very happy that I learned a lot and sincerely want to thank you for doing all the things that you do. That's amazing. Cool. I love stuff like that. Hi, Brooke. I have 3 questions. What does the coaching program cost? So, as I said before, I'm not going to say on YouTube because there's multiple options and it's always changing. If you want, you can book a call and there's a form there that you can fill out. I live in Ethiopia and PayPal does not work here. How I receive money? So I think you just need to set up a US company and your US company will be able to get a bank account. And I don't use PayPal really. I guess I do, but you don't need to. You can use Shopify payments. My English is bad. How will I close suppliers? You can use email. So you can use a tool to write emails for you so they're good English, or you can hire someone to do phone calls for you. Can I make my own brand on top of the supplier's brand, like white labeling? Yeah. Like if a supplier wants your white label, you can, but you have to keep in mind, like no one's going to know your brand when you get started, right? So it might be hard. You'll have to target like generic terms. So rather than selling like your brand name grill, you have to target just grill. And over time you can build a brand for yourself, but it's not something that I've done. Can you explain to me the monthly volume numbers in selecting product to get to 10K a month profit? It really depends, man. Like there's not a right answer. Like I can give you guidelines and you said I say different numbers. Like, yeah, it just depends. Like I'm trying to give you somewhat accurate ones that I would look for, but there's no, like, for every number I tell you, there's going to be exceptions. Like I can say your product should have 10,000 searches per month, but then there's going to be ones that have 3,000 and do really well. Like what I'm trying to say is just, there's anything I say is just kind of like, obviously I have people going through my program and I'm telling people a number, and then like based upon how I see people do, like what I think is the right number will change. It's not like my knowledge is the gospel. It's just like, this is roughly what I think. And there's going to be exceptions both ways to what I think. So it really depends. I would say, yeah, like 10,000, 20,000 a month is probably a good target to hit for the product type. Above that. Is a 15-year-old enough to start high ticket dropshipping? Is it worth sacrificing college for? So I'm not going to say exactly what you should do, but if you want to do business, I would say do business, get started early. You're obviously super young. You're not even going to college yet, I assume. So I would say do well in high school and then start a business, start doing business now. And then when the time comes, you have a couple of years. If your business is going by the time you go to university and you're making money from that, I would just continue to go all in there. But yeah, obviously you have a couple of years, you're super young. I'm not going to tell you to never go to college. Depends what you want. But I would say take advantage of your time now. If you want to do business, try and get a business up and going so then you're making money and you don't even have to go to college at all. Do you think I can make a profitable income and good sales if I worked 5 hours a day following your course for 4 to 6 weeks? It depends how hard you work. It depends on your experience. Like if you've never run a business before and like it's going to be super, super difficult for you to make progress and mentally kind of handle all this change, I would say probably not profitable in 4 to 6 weeks, probably closer to 2 or 3 months. But if you've run businesses before and you can just kind of like crush this stuff and really go all out with that 5 hours an hour, it's definitely possible. Like we've had people do it. But I would say like the personality type required to make a profitable income in 4 to 6 weeks is not everybody. So it would really depend on you, but it's possible, but I wouldn't say that that's usually the case. How much luck is needed to succeed in high ticket dropshipping compared to other business models? So it depends what you define as luck, because if you just keep pivoting and testing things until something works, it's going to work. So I don't really think any luck's required. It's just how much work are you willing to put in to actually find that supplier that clicks for you, or how much time are you willing to put into learning ads to make sure that your ads are optimized? How much time are you willing to put into making the perfect website? Because if you have the perfect website, perfect ads, and you have good suppliers, you're going to have success. Like that's not luck. Those things are all within your control. It's just a matter of how much work and time are you going to put in becoming good at those things to the point where you're having results. Scenario: I am who is a beginner in high ticket e-commerce, coincidentally decides to pick a niche and sell products while there are other more successful and experienced entrepreneurs who are selling the same products in the same niche. Is it possible for me to succeed and create a profitable business? Yes, because like let's say grills. Let's say the grill market in the US is $500 million a year, $1 billion a year. You do not need a big piece of that pie. So like you don't need to beat them to have success. You just need to take 1% of the pie to have success. So yes, it's definitely possible. Do suppliers care if the client who is trying to close a deal has no experience? Some of them will care, but obviously you want to try and make it seem like you aren't a beginner. Like you want to have a business plan, you want to come across as a professional, you want to outline a marketing strategy and how you're going to help their brand grow. And if you do that, then they're not even going to necessarily think, oh, he's a beginner, because you're going to sound professional, you're going to sound like you know what you're doing. And that just comes through practice and repetition and calling more and more suppliers. How much time is needed to put into high ticket e-commerce? Because I have a job that takes up almost 9 hours a day. Is it possible to do it with 1 or 2 hours a day? If you can stay consistent 1 or 2 hours a day for like 5 months, it's definitely possible. But like most people can't do that, is the sad reality. Like most people can't stay consistent at something 1 or 2 hours a day for 5 months. So 9 hours a day is a lot. I'm sure you're drained after that. It's probably going to be difficult, but it's possible. But again, it depends on you. Hi, Brooke. Any accounting software you recommend? I think, what's it called? Xero, maybe? Xero or QuickBooks. Both of those should hook up to all of them. How to research high ticket products. So if you go on my YouTube channel, there's plenty of videos on that. What is in myself and my business partner Mendez monthly paid groups? So we have a bunch of stuff. We have obviously the course content. We have group coaching calls. We have individual Slack channels. We have coaches. We have one-on-one customer success managers. We have all sorts of different things. It's kind of like a full-out mastermind community, coaches, private channels, networking events, everything like that. So it's kind of full-out thing. But that was all the questions. Thank you for all the wonderful questions. There's lots of super good ones today. Again, I greatly appreciate your support. If you hit subscribe on the channel below, like this video, and any questions or comments, put them in the comment section. I'll do my best to answer any and all of them. But thank you for your support, guys. Thank you for taking time out of your wonderful day to watch the video today, and I'll see you soon. Cheers.